Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer, and I'm here to work on a LEGO set. I'm also here to hang out with all of you. I'm going to start things off by throwing the Bear Cave, the LEGO, the Scythe, the Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi. You can use other people's emotes. If you feel like being a lurker, go ahead and lurk. That's also your choice. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. It's a Thursday. And yes, you know that I have been working on, any chance I can, this jigsaw puzzle, this Magic the Gathering Artifacts jigsaw puzzle. We are over halfway done. We are almost at 2/3 of the way done, I believe. And I just want to take a small break from it. I'm sure that as people come in through the stream later, they'll be like, "Oh, why did you finish the puzzle? Why aren't you working on the puzzle?" And I understand, but I just wanted to take a little window to do something that's not that. Now, in case you're unaware, the jigsaw puzzle and 2 LEGO sets were purchased all at the same time by Aristofan off my Amazon wish list. And so I'm going to work on one of those LEGO sets now. Then we're going to go back to the jigsaw puzzle, and we might even go back to that tonight. I am somewhat ready for that if that comes up. I for the second build stream in a row, I forgot my magnifying glass, but now we're at a point where I don't think I necessarily need it, because I can kind of go off vibes on a lot of these. Either way, I'm not going to take a break the stream to go get it, because I will have to take a break if we go to the puzzle to switch over anyway. But I got a LEGO set. We're on the Lotus Flower LEGO set tonight. That's the plan. And we'll kind of just, talk about some things and things. And I think it'll be a good time, and I hope you have fun with it. I mean, that's the plan. Because there's stuff to talk about tonight. That's another thing, is we do have things and things. I have 2 anime to talk about in the second hour. One show that I am going to, I think, be watching, probably for Thursday, even though it comes out over the weekend, but whatever. And then also, we do have to talk about a show that I'm not going to keep watching, but I did want to watch every isekai that came out this season, so I did watch it. And I'll talk about the first episode and how I'm not going to keep going. And then there's some gaming news, because, I don't know if you heard, but Nintendo has a new console coming out. Yeah, there's going to be a direct about it in April. But yeah, I don't know if you heard, but apparently Nintendo, weirdly enough, they're doing another console. Anyway, let's go to the overhead. Here's the overhead. Hooray, there's the overhead. Did you miss it? Did you miss the green board? Hey, Lord Crashington, welcome. Did you miss our green friend here? I did a little bit. I missed this just a tiny bit. Anyway, I'm working on this LEGO set. You can see it right above me right here, or right here. There it is. Hello. I'm working on that, so let's get into it. The zoom in, which we haven't had in a while either. So we're working on 3 of these lotus flowers. One that is not, this just budded, and then 2 other ones. This is we'll do it like this. This is a 3-bag kit for some reason. Each flower gets its own bag, but I just knolled all of it. So this isn't going to take the full stream, but I did want to get some of it done, so that we could talk about some things and things as we go through this. I haven't done LEGO in a bit because most people know this. I'm not saying anything new. I don't necessarily or ever work on LEGO when I'm not streaming. So I haven't done a LEGO set since the last time I did a LEGO set, which would have been around Christmas. The Christmas LEGO build that I did would have been the last one. Sorry. I had to reach for something there, and I caught it. I got what I needed. So we'll put these on here, and then we'll put this on. Yeah, I mean, this is a 200-piece set, but it's not particularly difficult. I don't think it's going to take too long to do all of these. All right, so we need 4 of the pink, there we go, 2x2s, and then 4 of these. And then 4 of these. Making our flowers here. I have never done LEGO flowers like this. They do a lot of these flowers. They do ones in vases. They do very intricate roses and bouquets. A variety of flowers in different bouquets. Yeah, I've just never worked on one of these. Just never come up. So I'm happy to be building this right now. Hello, Lysandus. And again, thank you to a wrist fan who bought this LEGO set, along with the jigsaw puzzle that we will return to once this set is done, and another LEGO set that we will build once that jigsaw puzzle has been completed. Thank you to a wrist fan for picking that up. I've already said that in person, or not in person, but on stream when a wrist fan's been there. But yeah, this was just, I wanted to take a little breaky break from working on that puzzle, because yeah, I just thought it'd be nice to do a little something different. Good on the old eyes. Although we are making very good goddamn progress on that. So part of me was like, I'm doing real good. Do I really want to break the momentum? Turns out, yes, I did want to break the momentum. So I mentioned it a little while ago. Let's talk about it. Switch 2. We all fucking knew the Switch 2 was a thing. Nintendo was like, there will be a successor to the Switch. We will talk about that later. Most of that was really, oh wow. So I need 15 of these and 14 of these. Jesus, okay. And then this one goes on the end. This is a little wild how this works. So this goes like this. This goes like this. Then I already have these done. So then I need 15 of these and 14 of these. So I'm going to get 14 of these out here. But yeah, we already kind of knew. Nintendo had said, hey, we're going to talk about another thing at some point. There is going to be a successor. At CES this week, basically, one of their third-party partners for hardware accessories basically was just like, here's some stuff we have coming out. And it was just like stuff that's for the Switch 2. And of course, there have been leaks. There was the Switch Pro leaks and stuff. There was lots of leaks for this. There are people that, are quote unquote trusted in the field who were like, this shit is happening. Here's what we know. So I need 15 of these. I'm going to get 15 of these out. But yeah, now Nintendo was just like, hey, here's a video. More's coming out in April. We're going to do a direct on the 2nd. Which is great. They're not doing an April Fool's Direct. That's lovely. Which also means that if there's any weird leaks about like games they're going to announce a day before, people won't believe them. And because the internet is always great on April 1st. But that was just funny to me. There's like, oh yeah, that's not gonna go particularly great. All right, so I know I need to make this into one big old chain here. Taking all these, yeah, because we start with one, and then we just keep going with it. Yeah, do a bunch more. This is what we like to call in the business busy work, but it has to get done so that we can, get the stem going here. Let's see. This will be the first direct since July 2024. People are just like, hey, what do we know? What do we know about this? Not a lot. There'll be some leaks. We don't know when the console is coming out. Various things like that. But we have more information than we did previously. And that's nice. It's just nice to have that information. Let's see. Follow up. Look, there's a bunch of stuff. They should have put the direct on April 1st. Well, I'm just saying, Lord Crashton did. By doing it on the 2nd, it means that all the leaks that come out on the 1st, people won't know if they can believe them or not. So it actually is great that it's on the second. I just made that point. But basically, it's just like it's an enhanced Switch, and some people think that's the end of the world, and other people are like, yeah, of course it is. Okay, yes, it's just it's an enhanced Switch. Cool. That's great. Good. That's what I want. I want to play my Nintendo games on a new, shinier Nintendo. Please, there's so many bad faith arguments out there. A lot of people, we talked about this before. A lot of people were just like, I hope I'm able to get one before the scalpers. Well, Lysander, of course, that depends on where you are in the world. Hopefully demand will be high, but hopefully they'll meet demand right off the bat. The thing about the Switch is, when the Switch came out, yes, it was hard to find at first. Part of that was exacerbated by the pandemic and Animal Crossing being a thing that people were using as a comfort game. That did not make things easier when we hit the pandemic, but even before that, wasn't necessarily the easiest. But yeah, so here's the thing. You can't really solve the one of the problems with saying, oh, we're going to solve the scalper problem is that how do I say this? Japan has done a pretty damn good job with launches not getting fucked over by scalpers. Japan as a country, Japan's situation, pretty solid. Nintendo, not always the best at doing that kind of stuff, so we'll see. Hopefully, we'll be okay. And then also, hopefully, people wait, right? Because that's one of the things that hurts scalpers the most is if people are like, well, I'm not paying that price. I will wait, and it'll show up somewhere where I will be comfortable buying it. And that's the hope, is that, and then, of course, also the hope is that y'all really should switch to resellers or something. Yes. But also the hope is that chains that are selling it don't also try to force bundles, which also happens when Nintendo consoles are popular, or any console is popular, is they're like, well, GameStop suddenly only has Switch 2s that come with the Pro Controller and 3 games, and you can't buy a Switch 2 from us unless you buy all that. And it's like, well, it's better than the price of the other competitor, so I guess I'll do that. But yeah. Also, one thing I did want to bring up is that they got the redesigned Joy-Cons that appear to be the electromagnet thing that was rumored. That appears to be the case. That looks pretty neat. Wait, bag 2. Okay, so bag 2, I take this piece here. I'll put it like that. That's step 15. Step 16, put a bunch of flowers on it. Okay, so we got to do this. We need 6 of these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we need 6 of these. But yeah, so we got the new Joy-Cons that look like that's what their deal is. That seems interesting. The announcement video isn't that long. There's the new kickstand. The dock is curved. The system itself has a curve to it. I like that. It looks sharp. I think that looks really neat. There's a Mario Kart in there in his example. That is probably the new Mario Kart. People are extrapolating a lot of things from that and making a lot of judgments that I'm not going to be doing. They did announce that most Switch games will work on the Switch 2. That is backwards compatible, and most titles will work on it. Not all titles, and to me, that's probably things that have controllers they don't want to support anymore. Now, should they support because the Joy-Cons are different? So I don't know if old Joy-Cons are going to work on the new system. You'd hope they would, but we don't know. But maybe something like Ring Fit Adventure isn't going to work on Switch 2 because the Ring Fit doesn't work there. And again, should it? Certainly reasonable to say that. But I do think that it's good this early out. They're saying, hey, not all this shit's going to work. I think that's reasonable, and it's still going to fuck people up. When you call something the sequel to the thing, there is an inherent misunderstanding or a lack of understanding. I don't think the old Joy-Cons will work without an adapter. Yeah, Lashbrook, like I said, I don't know, right? Well, they wouldn't dock, like you say, they wouldn't like clip in, but you can use a Joy-Con, in a Switch without them being on the side. So is that technology being there? I don't know. Lysander says, I hope the new Joy-Cons feel better. The current ones did not feel good in my head. Okay, yeah. And then the new Pro Controller looked bigger than the previous Pro Controller. And for some people, that's awesome. And for other people, that's a bummer because they don't like how that feels. So, again, I am not making any big judgments on that. I think it's going to have Nintendo games and be cool. It's not going to be the most powerful thing in the world because that's not what Nintendo ever fucking does. And I know some people were like, oh, it's called the Switch 2. This thing's dead, which is hilarious because it's like, no. One of the problems with the Switch, one of the problems with the Wii U was they didn't really support it. But also, people were like, a lot of people who bought the Wii weren't gonna buy any new console. And I think that's the thing that gets kind of forgotten here and there is people look at the Wii sales and they look at the Wii U sales and they're like, well, why? It's because they called it the Wii U. And that's why. If people didn't understand and they were like, oh, is that just a tablet for my Wii? It's like, yeah, I'm sure some people thought that. But what a lot of people thought was, oh, they're doing a new Nintendo thing. Okay. I'm not going to get that because I didn't buy the last Nintendo console. I bought this Nintendo console because this one has Wii Bowling on it. And I got Mario Kart. And I got that Smash Brothers thing. That thing's weird. I don't know who any of these people are in there, and that's it. So, like, maybe they got Wii Play because it came with, like, the new Wiimote. So maybe they got that because they needed a new Wiimote anyway. But my general feeling has always been that the Switch may have sold to people who are new to consoles. Maybe it did sell to a lot of people who are like, this is my first Nintendo console, or this is the one that makes me feel like this is the one I want to get. But to me anyway, my vibe of it has always been that this is the console that handheld people and console people bought. And that's where the numbers come from. Because there are a lot of people who bought Nintendo handhelds because they like having Nintendo handhelds. That was the thing to them. That's what they wanted. And this is a handheld, and also you can dock it. And some people never dock. And some people always dock. And you got both of them. And I think that's a big part of their success. Is that all of their success? Of fucking course not. But I think it's part of their success is the fact that they sold to a huge market of people by making it a console that can do both those things. It's like, yeah, all right. Then you just get to make all this goddamn money. Hooray. Vinny was only docker to trick his kids. Yes, Lord Crashington. He was a dock only because he reasoned that if it would come out of the dock, that's where it would get damaged or taken to school or left in someone's bedroom or dropped on the couch, whatever. He reasoned that things would not go well if he allowed for that to happen. And I don't necessarily disagree with Vinny Caravella. Obviously, Vinny Caravella knows his kids better than I do. I've met them twice. So I don't really know his kids. But yeah, that to me, that checked out and made a lot of sense to be like, well, we're not gonna find out that that's a handheld as well. This is just a TV thing. It's smart. It's a smart way to go. Let's see. Is there any other stuff I want to say here? The second, just speculation stuff. Sales projections, nonsense stuff. Oh, also probably Labo stuff won't work. That's the other one that probably won't work. Labo probably won't do what they won't work with the new Switch 2. Which, yeah, probably. Maybe it will. Maybe everything will work on the Switch 2, but they did say some stuff won't. And that feels like one of the ones that won't. Is my guess. I don't know. I don't know. Let's talk some news of the world of gaming outside of Nintendo doing stuff. We had a report from Bloomberg that there has been 2 canceled games at some subsidiaries of Sony. They have canceled, I think anything that requires the IR camera. It doesn't look like it has one. Yeah, last work. I think that's a totally reasonable shout. Or assumption, I should say. Two studios, both working on live service games, have had their games canceled. One was a God of War game, apparently. And that is... It is both not surprising that several years ago, Sony went all in on live service games thinking they were the future and had a bunch of studios work on live service games. It also does not surprise me in the slightest that suddenly they're like, oh, wait, actually, what if we didn't fucking do this anymore? I put all of these on wrong. I thought this was the right way. They have to go this way. I'm glad I caught this now. That does not surprise me that they're just like, actually, sunk cost fallacy be damned, we're out. Which, on the one hand, fucking sucks for the people that have been working years on games that we'll never see anything of. They can't... People that have, maybe their only game that they've worked on in 5 years or 6 years that they have, could say anything about is a God of War game that will never see the light of day. And they, and as they try to continue to work in this industry, they'll be like, what happened to that year? Unannounced Sony project, which is like all you can say, which is a bummer. There's a lot of stuff about this that sucks. And then at the end of the day, unfortunately, yeah, you probably should cancel your live service games and rethink those. And I don't know what else you do, but turns out live service wasn't the future. Some games that are live service were the future, which is a very different thing. And bad bets were made. I can't imagine what a live God of War would be, let alone a good live God of War. I mean, to me, your live game God of War is what's that game that it's the Eric Pope worked on it. I mean, he didn't work, he didn't design it, but he worked in the publishing for it. I forget the name of the game, but it's a large scale battle game, and to me that's what it is. You don't. It's not a bunch of Kratos. It's a bunch of mythology fighting each other. It's a bunch of different mythos, and that's the live service game to me. 100 Kratos dropping out. No, yeah, like I said, to me it's not a Kratos game. It's a God of War game, and you just extrapolate that. You're part of an army summoned by Ares, and you're gonna fight some Norse gods peoples and some Celtic people and all that stuff. They had a multiplayer game in God of War Absolution that was neat. Yeah, so look, it's a property that Sony owns, and so they thought, let's do something with it. And that thing ended up being canceled, which is a shame, but also maybe, as I said, maybe the right beat to do now, say, well, that's a loss. That's last year's loss. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Just obviously a shame for the people that worked hard on it, but, it's rough. There were not layoffs at Future Future Lab, I should say. Future Lab did not have layoffs. I don't have the story in front of me. I'm just remembering that I didn't talk about it. There were not layoffs at Future Labs. They are the people continue to bring you the wonderful world of Power Wash Simulator. They have closed their VR division in a move that I see reflected everywhere. According to their CEO, that division lost them money constantly. They did do VR support in the game. I have heard mixed things about it. I never did it because I don't have any VR gear, and that is not how I would want to play that game, but they did support it. But they were also hiring. They were looking to hire people. So instead of laying a bunch of people off, they just moved everyone from that division to work on other stuff in the company, and that's great. Now, obviously, if you are working in that division of Future Labs because you believe in VR, that might come as a bummer, and maybe you'll be looking for other work, but also maybe your passion is not going to work out as far as making you money. But they weren't laid off, and that's fantastic, and we take the wins. We take the wins when we can get the wins. We take the W's that get presented to us because it's so fucking hard to get the W's. All right, I am definitely going to be working on some goddamn jigsaw puzzling tonight because we're on our way. We're on our way to making it happen. All right, so I need one of these and one of these. And then I need 14 more of these and 15 more of these. Value workers is always a winning formula. Indeed. Keeping the workers that are already part of your projects together, that's also great. Again, it's a bummer if you worked at that company because you love working in VR and that's your specialty and you got moved to something you're not super psyched about. Like, that's a bummer, but also, like, it makes total sense to me that is a market that is not turning a profit for small devs. Speaking of which, the VR studio Soul Assembly has laid off 15% of its workforce. In a statement, we can confirm a reduction in our staff by 15%. The decision was taken to ensure the studio is aligned with the requirements of our upcoming projects, which sounds like we fucking need to we need to have less expenses. That's what it says. We're going to work on less projects, and we can't afford to have the staff size that we had going forward. That's my guess. They recently partnered with Ubisoft to work on Just Dance VR, which you would think would make them a bunch of money, but we'll see. And they worked on Warhammer 40k Battle Sister and Drop Dead the Cabin. Now, I can only speak on one of those games, and that one game is a friend of mine talked so much fucking shit about Warhammer 40,000 Battle Sister. Fucking hated that game, so there you go. Just Dance VR seems the opposite experience of the flat screen version. I mean, it's basically it's less Just Dance and more like Dance Central, kind of what they're going for there, in my opinion. Let's see. Again, I don't know how many. All I have is percentage. I do not have the total of how many people that is. I do not know how big the studio was, so I do not know the number. I can only tell you that it was a large percentage. Quest sales are bad. VR is real rough. the VR space seems real bad to be in. Microsoft did quote unquote small layoffs across various divisions. This is the third year in a row that they have done January layoffs, which are, of course, slightly better than December layoffs, but still not fucking great. This is from Business Insider. Security, video game, and sales divisions. We do not know how many that is. This is certainly way less than the almost 2,000 employees laid off in January of last year. Let's see. And also the 10,000 employees that they laid off across all brands at Microsoft in 2023. And that, of course, that's again different. These are things to remember, that Microsoft is laying off a lot of people. That will include people in the work in Xbox, but not solely in that. And that obviously is a fucking bummer. There's no good way to say that. We don't know why. We don't have any. Business Insider didn't have any exact numbers. They didn't have any reasons that were said. But we'll talk about another Microsoft studio in a moment. I do want to get through all the bad news before we get into some of the good news. So one last layoffs. Seems like it was a quarterly purge to keep the numbers up. Well, Lord Crashing, like I said, because quote unquote small, so this is just a end of the fiscal, is probably an end of the fiscal year bump, but it wouldn't be significant because they didn't lay off a significant amount of people. So it wouldn't be necessarily significant. This is probably just them making reductions of staff in sales and security and all that. They probably it's probably honestly because they closed a couple locations and now they just have too many people in certain areas. They think, again, that's my assumption. Hyper Light Breaker developer Heart Machine confirms layoffs before Hyper Light Breaker even came out. But don't fucking worry, they made sure that you didn't know that Hyper Light Breaker isn't affected by the layoffs, just other people at the studio. The game that they're banking on, that they need to be a success, don't worry, they didn't take people off of that. Fucking yikes. Fucking yikes. Heart Machine laid off a portion of its workforce. They are having, hey, I will say this, credit where credit is due, obviously shitty. They are doing severance and their healthcare will continue for several months. And that is great. They are a California studio. Some of this is required by law. Some of that is not required by law. Hyper Light Breaker won't be impacted by the cuts. A strong and timely launch will rekindle opportunities for those affected as we look to involve and grow the game through early access. So they kind of were like, hey, we might hire some of these people back, which is like, fuck off. Fuck off then. Why would someone you just laid off come back if the early access of your game goes well? Like, what? Sure. Also, there another project called Possessors is apparently not affected. And of course, they give some goddamn air to their communities that have rallied in support of our studio and others in similar positions. Now, considering how fucked finding a new job is, I can see why they'd come back. Yeah, I mean, I guess. Also, a reminder, that's an LA-based studio that does have people who do work from home that are not in LA, but a lot of these people that have been laid off are LA residents. And they might have other fucking stuff on their plate as well. That is a thing to remember, unfortunately. Hey, I did a 2 out of 3 flowers. 2 out of 3 flowers have been combined. We've got the bud, Then we got the lotus that's open. We got a pink lotus and a pink budded lotus there. And now we're going to work on a white lotus, which will be, as far as this looks, identical to the last lotus that we built, except that it will be white instead of pink. So, yeah, as far as I can tell, very similar operation here. Lord Crashington, I should have thought of that. I should have thought of having a vase. I do not have a vase for these. Should have thought of it. It's a good idea. So, you may remember that last year, a union got formed in Stockholm, Sweden. 100 people that worked there that were part of the Candy Crush team. King, International Studio. King, part of Activision Blizzard. King, now part of Microsoft. So last year, they started a union. And we didn't know, we knew some stuff about it. There were some reports about it, but it wasn't like super in-depth reporting on the why. Just that they formed a union together, and it was a union of, it wasn't just like, oh, this within the team. It was like, no, a full-fledged, like, everybody is fucking into it. I did not know this until I read this. This is an IGN kind of story, or not a kind of story, an IGN kind of wrap up of the events and giving more details, which is excellent. 70% of people in Sweden are part of a trade union. Eligible workers can join a trade union representing the type of work they do at any time. So you don't have to join a union at your work. You could just join a union. And 70% of people do that, which is a wildly high fucking number. It's an incredibly cool fucking number. So them creating a union and then trying to get a collective bargaining agreement, that made total sense. And one of the reasons why that happened, a big reason why that happened, was an email that Microsoft sent out. Microsoft, who then owned Activision Blizzard King, sent out an email and said, hey, one of your benefits is going away. Just letting you know, you've got a couple weeks left, and then a big benefit to the company is going away. And the people were like, what? Fuck you, basically. Long and short of it. Now, what was this benefit? I'm going to tell you what the benefit was, and then I'm going to explain why it exists. Because you, statistically, as an American, will be like, what? Why was that a thing? And then, again, I will go into some detail about what that was. Again, this is from this article. Thank you to IGN reporting, and this IGN article let me see, does this actually say who wrote this? Rebecca Valentine. Of course it's Rebecca Valentine. Fuck yeah. Thank you, Rebecca Valentine, for including this. So here's the thing. Apparently, they really didn't the union talk was never really a thing before 2024. They had a channel on the Slack, or they got a company Slack, and there was a channel, and it never really had much interest, and there were like maybe like 10 members in the company. But then in January, they got an email from management, and they were like, hey, the private doctor that we pay for, that's going away. You don't got that anymore. Now let me explain. This was a move that King did during the pandemic. There was, getting prescriptions by a doctor. That was a very difficult thing to do. This is conjecture from Pat, because there is a rumor that doctor was handpicked by then CEO of Activision, Bobby Kotick. one could make the guess or the accusation, the assumption, whatever, that this was Bobby Kotick getting a doctor that he knew somehow a job, a cushy gig in Sweden. Whatever the case, they had a private doctor that also their families could go to as a primary physician. And it was free to go to this doctor, to make appointments, to just get, to send emails. And apparently this goddamn doctor responded to phone calls easily, was available all the time, and people loved it. They loved her. She seemed to love working for King. It was like this incredible benefit. And then 4 years later, that's it. That's going away. And they were only given a week's notice. So that means that every employee of Activision, of King, every King employee that was using this, or, obviously some weren't, but everyone that was, suddenly had to find a new doctor with a week's notice for themselves and their family, who, as I said, also got to use this benefit of working there. And there was nothing they could do about it. Now, they were offered health insurance benefits that were similar, that were more in line with a traditional office, that kind of thing. But those benefits are not as good as having a primary care doctor that everyone in your company goes to. Because now there's a portal and you have to talk to a nurse, and it's not the thing. It's not the same. They got used to something pretty fucking cool. And this apparently, in the general Slack of King, set off a lot of people, and people were like, well, we have no say in this, that we can't get them to change their minds. We have no power. And suddenly the union channel came back alive. And in October of 2024, the group officially voted to form a union with the union board, and the Slack channel that used to have like 10 people in it had about 217 people in it. And now you may remember, well, Pat, how does this union get accepted? How does that work? You may remember that. Did I fuck this up again? I do this wrong again. I did this wrong 2 times in a row. You may remember that Microsoft, in order to buy Activision, was basically like, we are neutral when it comes to unions. We're taking a neutral approach, and that's why there are so many Microsoft unions. King put out a statement after this IGN reported on this stuff. As we adapt to changing times, we occasionally reassess and update our benefit offerings to align with the evolving needs of our workforce. Some benefits were particularly relevant during the pandemic have been adjusted to reflect our current landscape. Basically, they were just like, we decided we didn't need to fucking do that shit anymore, so we weren't going to do that shit anymore. But I love saying this is update our benefit offering to align with the evolving needs of our workforce. Like, there's no way you can say that. There's no way you can look at it and go, yeah, our workforce changed and it didn't make sense to give them this cool free thing that we used to give them. Like, come on. Come the fuck on. We remain committed to ensure that, oh God, I'm gonna say it. I am gonna say it. This was in their statement to IGN. So I am required to say this word. We are committed to ensure that Kingsters, that's what they call King employees, that Kingsters are treated well and continue to enjoy competitive benefits and packages. We respect the decisions of Kingsters to organize and engage in union clubs, and we are committed to maintain a workplace that supports dialogue, collaboration, and mutual respect. That's right. They call them Kingsters. And I don't like it. Don't like the name. I don't like saying it. I wish I hadn't. Don't like saying Kingsters. How is that? How about they collaborate on a strike, right? Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's Sweden, so like it's Sweden, and Microsoft is neutral on unions, so they will organize, they will be a union, and then they will be hopefully be able to collectively bargain. They don't think they're going to get their private doctor back, but they do expect to, in the future, have more of a say in what happens there, right? Like this is to prevent future witherings away of things when they have no say in those things. So yeah, while Activision Blizzard isn't like Activision Blizzard Microsoft isn't like fuck yeah you're unionizing, cool bro. They're not like what unionizing? That's weird. What? We didn't hear anything about that. Yeah, Lysandus, it is probably something like they got. My actual legitimate guess is the health insurance plan that they're offering, they got a kickback on that. That someone at King was getting a kickback for going with that insurance. That's my actual general thought on that. Is that this wasn't even a like make this cost less. It was because I guarantee you those plans where King has to pay a certain amount of it, and then you pay the rest, that's not cheaper than one doctor. There's no way that's cheaper than one doctor. So let's see. This is a quote from the person they spoke to who's representing their union, Falk. I think it comes down to being able to protect the benefits that we have with the agreements to make sure they don't do changes without us having an influence and being able to negotiate changes. Because, again, this happened and they can't do anything about it. So they're just like, okay, well, we got to fucking fix that shit. That's where everyone was at when this benefit was taken away, because we had some benefits that are kind of unique. They're not super unique to the game industry, but they're quite unique as a whole to companies in Sweden. Like we have a bonus. We have all these things like benefits from Microsoft that are quite good. So we want to make sure we get those protected. So if things are going to change, we can at least try and fight or get some bulletproof or get somewhat bulletproof for the future, which is incredibly fucking pragmatic in a way that I am super on board for. They're just like, yeah, I don't know. We got some good shit and we don't want to lose that good shit. So yeah, because they lost some of that good shit and they don't want to lose any more. What other important issues that Falk mentions are come up with salary, information transparency of the company, as well as protection and transparency around company reorganizations and critically layoffs. Most importantly for Falk and her colleagues is the ability to influence their workplace for the good of everyone. And another unionizer says the whole idea of unionizing Sweden is based off the fact that both parties have influence in getting to the table to discuss matters. Labor law in Sweden is still skewed towards the employer. Their rights are greater than those of employees. But of course, what rights you have as an employee, you should be protecting and aware of that. But yeah. And I don't know if this is a cautionary tale that every company should be paying attention to, but it is really interesting that they're described as these employees are described as like not really complaining too much, just kind of going with the flow, not really ever being like, dealing with too much general slack, being like pretty fucking chill. And then a thing got taken away. And then suddenly people were like, well, we need to fucking unionize. Your chill corporate environment may suddenly be not so chill when you start pulling things back from people. Which, you know what? Hell yeah. Hell yeah and fuck yeah is what I say to that. As you are well aware at this point, I'm a pro-union man. I have never myself been in a union, but I am the son of a union, a long-time union member who still gets benefits from her union despite being retired. And I am always pro-union and always have been. And I like to think I always will be. You know, can't always predict the future, but some weird shit would have to happen in my life for me to suddenly not be pro-union. You know, never say never, but it seems pretty unlikely that I would suddenly develop a distaste for unions and union efforts. Union as your workplace, if you can. I'm going to take a pause for the cause in a moment or two, but I'm going to finish this because I'm so close to being done with this. I knew that this would be done. I am prepped for this. Again, one thing I don't have, unfortunately, is I don't have my magnifying glass here, but I do have everything else I need to work on the jigsaw puzzle, which we will do later, and then talk about some anime as I do it. That's the plan anyway. So I need 15 of these, which I don't know if we're going to have any extras. So far we haven't had any extras of anything, but we still could have extras. Who knows? It looks like I have one extra of these, which, hell yeah, okay. So I need 15 of these, and then I need 14 of these. We'll get those together there. But yeah, we'll take a pause for the cause in a moment or two. I'll talk about ways you can support the channel and all that. We've got some anime to talk about in the second hour. I don't think I am going to be weekly talking about Zenshu. I like the second episode more than the first episode. I don't know if I'm going to fit it in. I might end up fitting it in on like a Monday. And so maybe I'll talk about episodes 2 and 3 on like a Monday. I don't know. I'm not fully convinced that I'm going to go back to it. I liked it, but like it alleviated some of my worries about the first episode, but also didn't leave me necessarily wanting to watch more. That is unfortunately for me, the story of the winter 2024 season is there's a lot of stuff that I'm looking at going, yeah, which is a shame. A lot of the stuff I really like are in like season 2 of something. So I'm not going to cover it. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that I think is just fine. Including one that I will be talking about here. But there was one series that started that I thought was pretty fucking neat. And unfortunately for me, for your friend Pat, 3 of the shows that I'm most interested in they're all on different services. And that's not great. The fact that there's a Netflix show I like, another one that I kind of like, one high dive show that I'm really fucking into, and nothing else on high dive right now anyway, and then a bunch of stuff on Crunchyroll. I'm just like, oh fuck, oh no, it happens. I have 3 services for anime right now. Last season, I didn't have high dive at all because they didn't have anything I wanted to watch. Because Loner, I happened to be the way the months worked out that I could watch the first couple episodes of Loner Life in Another World before I was like, yeah, I definitely don't want to watch this anime. And then my sub ran out and I was like, good. But the nice thing about Netflix is there are other things on Netflix that I do want to watch, so it's not the end of the world to have a show on there. High Dive, I can go back and watch some other stuff. Last result I just got High Dive and kind of want to check out Sakamoto Days, but like I'm not keeping it past a month. Yeah, I mean, Ranma 1/2, we talked about it last season. Ranma 1/2 is fucking solid as hell. That's a good reason to be on there. Daima is obviously on multiple things, so you can watch that in different places. So it's not, Wait, also, I think Ranma was on a few things. I watched it on Netflix just because it looked really good on Netflix, but let me look that up. Where was Ranma 1/2? Oh, yeah, no, Ranma is only on Netflix, but is dubbed and subbed. Daima is on Crunchyroll, Netflix, and Hulu, and the dub is Crunchyroll only for now. I think it will only be Crunchyroll. Yeah, and Dan was on Netflix and Crunchyroll. So that was another one. It was pretty good. But yeah, spoilers, Sakamoto Days is the one that I'm like, is the anime that I'm watching on Netflix. All right, we put this here. And that just goes like this. All right. The flowers are done, man. We'll show you here what they look like. We've got our budded one. We've got our pink lotus. We've got our white lotus. You can see it right there. I gotta say, Rumiko Takahashi's stuff just doesn't work for me. I'm sorry, Lashbrook. I wish you liked really good anime. It's a shame. I think this modernization of Ranma is fucking solid as hell. The thing I always say about Ranma 1/2 and a lot of the other works is that they are romantic comedies that also do other things. And if you only want the other things, then there are other places to go for those. But if you like romantic comedies that also have action or adventure or wacky situation comedy stuff, good spot for that. So yeah, so we finished these. These look great. If only I had thought about what Lord Crashington has said and that I had a vase. Oh wait, I do. I lied earlier. I do have a vase. I lied to you. I lied and I have a vase. It's not perfect for this, but I do have a vase for them. And now I'll put it like this so you can see I got a vase. We're going to have to zoom out anyway, so I might as well zoom out now. We've got a few leftover pieces. And there you go. There are my flowers in a vase. Look at that. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. Not the best. Obviously, this vase is a little wide, but it works for this. But I did have a vase. Sorry for lying. Lord Crashington, it was a good idea. It was a good question to ask. Because I did think of it today. Hell yeah. Did not need my brick separator. Do have a little Lego that needs to go into the box for Lego to get recycled. I did lie. Yes, I lied. I'm going to take a photo of this here before I have to completely rearrange my desk to then talk about, or to then put some cardboard down. But let me just get like this. Go. And just for shits and giggles, I'll take 2 photos. Put the vase there. Gotta be careful about that vase because it's not mine. I don't own that vase. Great. Photos have been taken. Go put these over here. I'm gonna drink a sip of water here. All right, let me take this off here. This off here. I don't need this now for a little while. And whoop. There we go. Puzzle time. It's puzzle time. Oh, we can get rid of the lotus here because we don't need that. It's puzzle time. Hey, welcome, Ash. Yeah, we just finished up Lego. We literally just finished this up. You can see it right here. And now we're going back to puzzle. It was Lego time, and now we're adjusting it to be puzzle time. Our big old jigsaw puzzle, which we got to widen out even more. There we go. Can I see that? You can kind of see that. It's not perfect, but you can kind of see everything here. Lord Crashton wants me to dance button. I will hit the dance button. Thank you for using your channel points for me to dance. Here's the dance button. Enjoy. Boop 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 doo 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 do 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 do. All right, so if you haven't seen this, I've been working on this jigsaw puzzle. We're gonna go to the overhead. We're gonna go back to the intro camera. I'm going to update the title here of what we're working on. So let me just do that. Gonna do Magic the Gathering Artifacts Jigsaw Puzzle. I thought that Lego set was going to take all stream, or most of the stream. It took half the stream. So we'll just add in that to the title because we're still a maker and a crafter. So that is, we're not lying. but we're also now working on the Magic the Gathering Artifacts jigsaw puzzle, which we will get back to. Always good to have backups. Indeed. I took a break from this jigsaw puzzle in order to do that Lego because I'm working on this for like 2 weeks now, and it was good in my head to have like something different, to use different brain muscles and all that. Because also I'm usually pretty head down when it comes to this, and so I don't get to like really engage with chat as much as I would like to. I'm going to do a really quick pause for the cause, then we'll get back to working on this. For folks that have heard all of this before, I'll get through it fast. But this is my time where I ask you, hey, if you are a subscriber to the Build with Baer Workshop, can you throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 Blue Emote in chat? Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here through Cash Money or your Prime Gaming token. You know, if you want to be on here, you could gift a sub. You could be like Aristofan and Bayfu and gift a sub. You could also be like Bayfu and throw in some bits, join the cheerleader board. You could do that. You don't have to. And that is a way to support me. It's not the only way, but it is one way to support me if you wanted to do that. There are other ways, and I'm going to go through them right quick. You could go, if you wanted to my Patreon at patreon.com/PatBear and join at the $1, $3, $5, or $10 tier. There are different rewards for the different tiers. Consider joining me on Patreon. And for anybody that's here now that is on Patreon, thank you very much. On my Patreon. If you're in Patreon in general, that's cool, but if you're on mine, that's great. I have a YouTube channel that I remind you you can check out, and you can subscribe for free at youtube.com/PatBear. Over on my YouTube channel, subscribe there for free if you want to. And if you want to become a member there, you could also do that. Memberships, weirdly enough, are just $2 a month, and you get my Wednesday video on Tuesday. So the video that went out yesterday for everybody, you would have already seen that the day before, and you'd be like, I already know what's one of your 5 favorite anime from the previous season, Pat. I watched the video. I got to see it. I know. Speaking of which, what is that one? Can't I remember what that is? Oh, that's right. Now I remember what it was. So we'll talk more about that in a bit. Those are all monthly ways to support me. If you just want to throw something in my tip jar, if you're just like, Pat, I like what you're doing here. I can't subscribe on a monthly basis, but here's a little bit of money. I got a Ko-Fi, I got a PayPal. Everything I make through direct donations like that, through YouTube, which includes AdSense, so watching my videos helps me out, through Patreon and through Twitch, all goes into a fund, and out of that fund, I take money out to buy model kits. I have a backlog full of a bunch of kits, including a very expensive kit that I bought this year, a very expensive kit that I have not been able to build yet because I'm working on stuff that was bought off my Amazon wish list. The Lego set that I just finished, this puzzle that I am now diving back into, they were all purchased generously off my Amazon wish list. And if you would like to buy something from my Amazon wish list, well, you could. Let me throw the link into chat there. And of course, if you're watching this later on YouTube, what's up YouTube? You can find this in the show description. If you're watching the VOD here on Twitch, it's in the chat bar, which I know some people don't watch the chat because they can't type in it because it was the chat in the past. But anyway, there's my Amazon wish list. Anything bought on this list gets a dedicated video on my YouTube channel, and then also jumps the queue and becomes the next thing I work on. I've got model kits and Lego sets and knockoff Lego sets and one knockoff nano block, which was weird. All kinds of different things that I would love to build on stream. If you see something there you'd like to see me do. I recently added the Lightning Buster Gundam. It is the advanced version. It's from Freedom. It is the advanced version of the Buster Gundam, which is like kind of just like a version of the Heavy Arms from Gundam Seed. But this one is the secondary version, and it looks fucking rad. And I just added it to my wish list like a little while ago. And it's a cool looking model kit. That is recent addition to the wish list. So if you see something there that you think, yeah, Pat, you should build that, then buy it on my wish list. You could do it. You don't have to, but you could. And there's some gear at the bottom because it's nice to have some gear options now and again. Let's see, other things. I do have an alternative to Amazon because it's nice having alternatives, which of course is my Throne wish list. You can go over on Throne if you want to do that. And then the most convoluted way to support me financially is to go to USA Gundam Store. At USA Gundam Store, you will get a gift card code. You can buy a gift card, and then you get a gift card code in your email. Then you can send me a whisper from Twitch or a DM from Twitter with that gift card code. And I will use that gift card code to buy something from USA Gundam Store. That's all. That's all it is. And then it'll be fun. Let's see. If you want to support me but not spend any money, I have a Discord. If you want to jump in my Discord, I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff they're working on. The Discord is nice. It's a nice little place for people. A couple video links for you to check out. Pat Baer's Anime Club. This was recorded live on New Year's Eve. It is my fall review / winter preview. If you're still looking for new stuff to watch this season and you want to have my thoughts on all of them as they were coming out, know that like at least one or two are a little out of date because they were were bait and switches. Zenshu is an isekai. That was not apparent. Mappa did not say we're making an isekai about creativity. Which is what they're doing. And then Kuma Baer is my weekly anime recommendation series. All this month, I am talking about anime from the fall season that I really liked. And this week, I'm talking about Dragon Ball Daima. Dragon Ball Daima is the new Dragon Ball series that is, in many ways, kind of a like modernization, further adventures of Dragon Ball more than is a Dragon Ball Z. And obviously, it's all just Dragon Ball. But it's kind of a throwback to that sort of series, that sort of action series where there's fighting, but it's not about being superpowered, even though that does happen. It's mostly, let's be real, most of Dragon Ball Daima is about seeing cool worlds and having plane troubles and spaceship troubles. That's really what Dragon Ball Daima is all about. But it's a fun series, and I talk about it in under a minute. Okay, so I'm going to drink some water. Then I'm going to talk about some anime, and we're going to get into puzzle business. We're going to get into some puzzle business while I talk about some of this here anime stuff that I'm getting into. And I can't do that until we dramatically start transitioning to overhead camera, which we'll do right now. I forgot to move my... when I do that segment, I am using my keyboard, and then, but because of all this cardboard, I have to move my keyboard very far away. So, sorry, I screwed up. Okay, I got this first piece here because I know where it goes. It is part of the eye over here, so that is this piece here, and then hey, that connects here and here. We now only have these as stragglers. There's probably like at least a couple other stragglers. No, right now, all of this except for these are connected. Oh, and this piece here is not connected to anything, but I know it goes there. So right now I have, before we get into the anime, Sakamoto Days, which is the Netflix show. I'm like, fuck, I'm going to have to keep Netflix for Sakamoto Days because it's fucking great. And Promise of Wizard. These are the pieces that I think I will be able to find based on artwork, some text, although last time I couldn't find this. And again, I don't have my magnifying glass, so it's going to be a little harder. But there's like enough text here that I'm like, I think I can figure these out. And these are the ones that are a lot that I'm like, maybe I can figure this one out by looking at the map here, or the legend, and then also looking at the tiles here. But I'm like, I don't know about that because I have to find one that has like this on one side and then this on the other. So actually, why don't we try that? So we need something that is kind of like a reddish orange. Is it? Did I immediately find it? Is it ring? Is it? Yeah, okay. That was in the pile of like, I'm not sure about it. I immediately found it. And it's Sandstone, Oracle, and Rings of the Bright Hearth. Okay, it goes right there. So that piece that was going to be hard was not hard. I will try not to talk about these too much as I go through them so I can talk about some anime, but I will talk about them. So yeah, I'm just gonna pull a piece out and go, can I figure out what this piece is? Based on the symbol and the artwork. Maybe I can figure that out. Is this part here? Is this part of the ring? It is part of the ring. Fuck yeah. This one. What is this gonna be? Now I need a kind of dark brown with like a black part there. And then there's a little symbol there. And this is going to be somewhere around here. Is this part of that? No. So I can do this where I'm like looking at all the cards it could be and trying to like figure that out. That doesn't seem great. There are obviously some cards here that are not fully developed. So that will be more difficult. But it's probably this card. Yeah, it's probably right over here. It's probably that. It's probably part of Oracle. The last two pieces in a row were part of Oracle, which is weird. But then like this one's going to be harder because I need to know what the Oracle text says. And again, I don't have my magnifying glass here, which was very helpful for that. But if I can find something that says expand or equal to the, so it would say, this card would say to the, and above it say in hand, and above that say if in hand. If I find a card that says if in hand, then that's this card. That goes here. That's part of the Sphinx, the sandstone. Like, okay, maybe I can find that. Can I figure out what art this is? By looking at card art. Can I figure this piece out? It is a little bit of a text, so I can kind of look and go, like, what card needs this? And then what that locks into. Oops, this came up. So this one's going to be harder because it's just like, it could be any part of a card. This looks like this is text there, so of the like artifact creature type or whatever. But like this one feels like, oh, this is going to be a little hard to figure out. So I'll look at some card art here and see if I can figure that out. While I talk to you a little bit about episode 1 of Sakamoto Days, the basic premise is that Taro Sakamoto is a hitman. He's a hitman for a mafia family, and in the past, in the fairly recent past, he was doing his job and murdering some people. And then he went into a store and he met the owner of the store and he instantly fell in love with her. And and basically there's a narrator, and the narrator's just like, he fell in love with her, they got married, and they had a kid named Hannah. And then also he got fatter. So important, because some people are like, the story is about a hitman who quit being a hitman and got fat, and like, so the fact is there isn't a lot of stuff about him gaining weight. It's not a big element of the story. It is to juxtapose what he looked like before and what he looks like now, because he's happy and he doesn't have to be an assassin or a hitman. Does he kill people still? Yes, he does. Can he still fucking work and move? Well, he doesn't want to kill anymore. I should say that. He doesn't want to kill anymore. Does he whip ass and is still fucking cool as hell? Yes. This is this is this card here. It goes right here. That said Griffin. It's this piece. It's this piece. There it is. It's that piece. I found it. Anyway, let's see. Next thing. This is more card art. This is another piece that I got to figure out here. And I'm going to do that by looking at all of the cards here. And I'm going to be looking for, that goes like this way. So this is the card art here. It's an artifact. So it's going to be, part of the word artifact is not readable. And this is like the bottom left corner, it looks like. Based on context clues that is part of the border between the cards. So I need this that kind of looks, you know, we got some blue going here in the corner, and it is not something that I've done before. So, or that is not one of the other cards that has blue in the corner. We'll see. But anyway, the fact that he's heavier now is kind of a joke, but it is not a... oh, that went there. Great. It is not like... Fat jokes are not all over this. So far, anyway. Will that continue in the future? I don't know. I can't tell you for sure that that's the last time that there's going to be mention of him getting heavier. Anyway, obviously, in the future, a guy named Shin shows up. He is a former assassin. I will tell, he is a current hitman. I will tell you that they used to work together, and Shin has shown up. Backstory wise, Shin has shown up because the mafia boss is like, "Hey, that guy that quit, we got to kill that guy," and Shin's just like, "And if we don't kill him, then he's got to come back to work for us." So Shin is just like, wants to find him, wants to bring him back. That's the plan. This is artifact equipment. So I'm going to look for all of the artifact equipments and see which artifact equipment is this one. Because I believe that says equipment. Again, this will be easier with magnifying glass. Saturday, I will have the magnifying glass back. Didn't bring it for this one, and that's okay. And if I can't find this piece, then I'll just put it back and we'll do it later. Is this part of blade? It is. It's part of the blade. Hell yeah. There's a whole scene with a kid who spills ink, and then like a customer gets mad at the kid, and then Sakamoto handles it, and he does a bunch of stuff. Sakamoto talks to Shin. We get to see him be fast because he definitely de-escalates and stops an assault that might happen in the store because the customer is mad about the ink. So we get to see that like Sakamoto can still kind of fucking go if necessary. He meets Shin. Taro immediately is just like, "Do I have to kill this guy?" Like immediately, he's just like, I might have to kill this guy. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay. What? Where is this? What is this piece? What is this piece here? I don't know. This tells me that it might be the bottom, the top, but I've got a lot of the border done. Let's see if I can find this. Oh, okay. It's gotta be this here. Yeah. Wait, but is it? Then it will go like that? It is that. Okay. That was the R in Shredder. Hell yeah. I'm doing it. Let's see if I can figure out what this piece is. You go here, or it could go like that. But let's look at all of the art here. Oh, that is part of this card here. I don't know how it goes in, but that is clearly art. Okay, so it goes like that. Then great, easy. Like I said, once I figure out what this looks like, it's fairly easy. This is another card art piece. That is part of Commander's plate. Is that this piece here? That is that piece there. Hell yeah. Now I need to find a card that has this in it. This is in the bottom or the middle or the bottom right part of a card. Most likely just the middle bottom here. So that is going to be part of Armory. This is part of the Armory card. There it is. Great. I gotta get through this talking about this anyway. Anyway, basically, Taro and Shin, they're like, Shin is just like, "Hey, I want you to come back." Taro's like, "No." And then Shin kind of observes Taro like doing stuff. He's like a really important member of the community. He helps a bunch of people. Like a lot of people show up, and he's just like a good guy to have in the squad in the area. He's just doing good work and is a vital member of the community. So Shin tells his boss, like, hey, this is not going to work out. This dude does not want to come back. And the boss is like, well, then he needs to die. And Shin's is like, that's not a good idea, because that's just not going to work out at all. Basically, Shin is just like, okay, well, I'm going to be the one to do it then. If he has to die and someone needs to do it, it's going to be me. I'll do it. Is this part of the stone? Okay, so hey folks, guess what? Something's wrong. This definitely feels like the right piece here. Okay, no. So there is another card that has a 6 in a corner that also fits here, or that also would fit here, because this piece definitely looks like it should fit, unless this piece is wrong. Is that piece wrong? But this looked right, and it's a 6. This looked correct, but it's not correct, but it looked correct. So now I need to figure out what other card has blue in the corner that looks like that. Oh, okay, so that isn't right. Now that I look at it more, that isn't right, because there's a little bit of yellow or something. So this is the wrong card. I was wrong. I thought it was right, but I was wrong. It's this card. Brass Herald also has a 6 in the corner and blue. That's right. So Shin goes to kill Taro, and literally we get to see some. So far this has been fairly grounded. Previously we did watch our guy be incredibly strong and cool in the past, but then we didn't really get to see much more of that. But now Shin shoots Sakamoto with a gun, and Sakamoto uses a cough drop that he's been chewing to spit at it to change the bullet's trajectory, and and then beats him up. And then basically they go, Shin wakes up on the second floor, very confused, understandably. And the wife is there and is just like, hi, you're here. And he learns from Taro, like, this whole family thing, and he suddenly is just like, oh, I get it now, because this family makes so much sense. Shin shows up, and he's just like, to his boss, and he's like, please don't try to kill him. This guy's got, please don't do it. I'll kill myself. Is that what you want? I'll kill myself. Which is like a really fucking wild jump to make for this, to like try to save the life of this guy that you barely know. Okay, can I figure out where what piece this is and where it goes? This looks like some kind of golem piece. So can I figure out what that is based on looking at the card art? Is that part of Howling Golem? No, that is the wrong card art. This is not part of that. This one might be hard. I might have to try to do this one later. Is this part of... This is part of Codex Shredder. That is part of Codex Shredder. Hell yeah. I did figure it out. I believed in myself. Then we learned something else. Now, if we learned this previously in this episode, I didn't remember it and it didn't stick with me. But apparently, Shin can read minds. And maybe that came up in the anime episode, and I just didn't pay attention to it, but it caught me off guard. I was like, he can, okay. And he realizes that even though the boss said, I'm not going to kill that guy, he still wants to kill Sakamoto. And so now it's time for an elaborate fight. Where Shin has to fight all of his boss and all of his boss's underlings. Apparently, while Shin was unconscious, Sakamoto bugged his gun so he could listen in. Then we get the scene that some people have been waiting for. The open up the secret armory in the shop, in your shop, with all of the guns, because it's time to fucking go to work. Yes, we did have that scene, and yes, it was fucking rad. All right, I thought this was part of Triniform. It is not part of Triniform. This one I might have to wait on because I'm looking at every piece of card art here. Is it this one? Oh, it is this one. Great. Okay, it was that one. It was from the Blade Gift prototype. Ooh, wow. This one might be tough. I need some kind of brown thing and a moon of some sort. This is not part of the elk, I don't think. Okay, so I need some sort of moon. This also could not be a moon. It could be part of this piece here. So this one could be very difficult for me to figure out. I'm thinking I'm going to have to wait on this one because it's probably pretty tough. Unless it's part of the workshop. Is it part of Workshop Assistant? It is part of Workshop Assistant. Fuck yeah. So we get this cool shootout. We get Taro shows up. Shin uses his psychic powers, which, of course, the boss knows about. There's a big fight. And then Taro, at the end of the episode, throws an apron at Shin and just like, hey, work for me. And then they have another conversation with the kid from earlier in the episode. Shin is kind of young and handsome and got a cool ability. Wife and kids are fun. Sakamoto is fun. I'm going to keep watching this one. Now, apparently, if I used a VPN to change my location, I could watch the second episode of Sakamoto Days with subtitles or dubbed. But if you don't have that, it just didn't work. And I don't know why that is, why they went with that. But that is apparently what's going on. But I will look into the second episode and I will let you know if there's episodes 2 and 3 come out or something. It's really fun. I really liked it. I recommend it. Good action. Sakamoto is fun. The family is fun. Shin has fucking cool powers that I was surprised about. I haven't read the manga. I don't know much about it, but I enjoyed my time here. I'm looking for a 2/2, and then that is next to a card with a quote. I mean, I could probably just look for cards that haven't been finished that don't have their card costs and then what's next to it, but I'll go through the hard part here before I talk about the anime that is fucking boring as hell. I've talked about, plenty over the years that I have been doing these kind of things of shows that have like a negative budget. That is my term for shows that look so bad. My foolish joking guess is that they're paying somebody to exist. They're not getting paid to make it. They're actually paying out. Okay, maybe I can find a quote flavor text that starts with a W. Maybe that'll be easier. Can I find quote flavor text that starts with a W? Because that's also in this. And if this doesn't work out, I can always save it there. Okay, is it? Okay, it's this one. It goes here. It's a Shimmermer. You can't see it, but I just put a piece down. And it fit. It was Shimmermer and part of Sissy's Ring. Card art. Some sort of lava. And let me look for lava art. While I talk to you about Promise of Wizard, which I will not be watching another episode of because it's bad. Most of this episode is people talking to each other in a stairwell. And I am not joking with you when I say that. The premise is our main character, Masaki Akira, Promise of Mr. Wizard. No, that would be way better if they'd made an anime of Mr. Wizard. Okay, this card, I don't think I have any way to connect this piece. Because I barely have this. I have some of this. Does this go here? No, it doesn't go there. This is part of the golem here. It's part of this. It's card art for this. Okay, so I can connect that. It's there. All right. That one, I'm honestly surprised that I would be able to manage to get. There's going to be a sword cutting through this, so I'm surprised I got this piece put in at all. So our girl, Masaki Akira, she gets summoned to a world where wizards and humans are there, and the Great Calamity is going to come, and they have to... Every year they have to fight the moon, because the moon causes a calamity, and they got to stop the calamity of the moon. Every year they have to fight the fucking moon. And so they're summoning her so that she can help out with their fight against the moon. And there are a lot of boys. We meet only a few of them, but the opening animation makes it very clear that there are so many goddamn boys in this show. And this is the point where I tell you that this is based on a video game. And because of that, perhaps, again, I have not played this game. I do not know. But perhaps because it's based on a video game, there is just fucking nothing to Masaki. Masaki in episode 1, maybe because they have so much to fucking say, but Masaki has like nothing going on. She's got nothing going on. She's got no personality. I don't know what she's up to. Oh, I found that. Fuck yeah, I found it. Hell yeah. And again, a lot of conversation in this one happens as they are walking, or walking and then stopping and then walking again in a goddamn long stairwell. But they need her help. They need her to take charge, and she's just like, I guess. There are a bunch of characters that look very cool because, again, this is a video game that these characters are based on, and they look neat. There is a guy with blue hair who seems like maybe he is going to try to do something awful to our character. But I don't know. He seems suspicious. Some of the other characters seem weird. And it's like, are people lying to her? Is she being manipulated immediately? Can she even figure that shit out? Ooh, I found it. Hell yeah. There's some twists and turns. I'll never know because I'm never watching another goddamn episode because, again, I didn't like this one. I know what this is. This goes here. This is part of Staff of Domination. I know that card. This is one of the cards I remember. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of guys. They're all pretty. They look like models that were just copied or they were just dragged onto the board they're in. Because this anime, again, looks so fucking cheap. All right, I need an equipment card. This is an equipment card. So obviously they're all artifacts, but this is one of the artifact equipments. So that should narrow it down. Should be able to figure out which artifact equipment this is without being able to use the old magnifying glass. Which I will have for Saturday. I will make sure. I will write myself a note so that I do it. I could just leave the magnifying glass here in this room, but my bedroom, but I don't. Okay, it is. I cannot find this card yet. Oh, it's this one here. It is next to this. So is it this card here? It is. It's that card there. Great. It's blocked, so it was a little hard to see. Also, I do want to say that one of the characters Um, that is probably, look, this character is probably a reference to the Merchant of Venice, right? Let's be real. They didn't come up with this character name out of nowhere. This is probably a reference to the Merchant of Venice, but there is a character that is a slur. That is a anti-Semitic slur. Again, reference to the Merchant of Venice. If you want to look that up, feel free. I am under no obligation to say the name out loud, but it is a slur, and it is something that you would call people who are Jewish when you don't know what their last name is, or you do, but you would just want to come up with a shitty name for it. That is, again, rooted in some story, but also they didn't need to fucking call that character that. They could have done any amount of understanding and not done that, because it's not necessary. And just change the name of a character. Yes. So that's not great. As soon as they fucking called it, I was just like, what? Yeah. It was not great. If you are looking for an anime with a bunch of pretty dudes that are not high school students, because that is hard sometimes. Oftentimes, the pretty dude anime are just high school guys, or maybe a idol group. Often those idol groups are also high school guys, so you kind of can't win. But if that's something that you are like really looking for, maybe this show would be okay. But it looks like ass, and it was not a good episode. And it did not compel me to want to watch more of it. Is this? Yeah. Hell yeah. That's a familiar piece. And that's the anime that I've been watching, one of which I will be watching episode 2 and I really enjoyed, one of which I will hopefully never think about again until I do my recap at the end of the winter season, and I go, oh yeah, that show. I wonder if that ever got good. And I'll never know. I might not ever know. We do have 2 boxes here of piles. Again, we have the pile that I think I can figure out from looking at the card art and such, and then the pile that I'm like, this is going to be harder. And so we'll try to get through all the ones here in the next, this stream, and then the rest of the stream, and then also Saturday stream. This I should be able to figure out what it is, because there's only so much card art left, and it's not this here. It doesn't go there. This should be Jeweled Lotus, right? This should be part of Jeweled Lotus. It is. Hell yeah, it's part of Jeweled Lotus. This says most books. So the flavor text, most books. Can I find a flavor text that says most books that has this above it? There's a 2 cost. Can I find that, friends? I don't know. Now it's the part of the stream where I want to hear from you. What are you up to? What are you into? What's going on? I always like to hear what you've been playing this week. If you've played any video games, you see any movies, you watching any TV shows or live sporting events, you psyched for playoffs for football this weekend. Did you wish there was a Thursday night football game tonight? Let me know what you got going on. I always like to hear from you about that stuff. I am getting ready. I'm getting excited about the cards coming out and the new mechanics coming out for Hearthstone. I'm excited about that because we're going to have the mini set that is StarCraft themed, and that should be fucking weird and kind of cool. So I am looking for, and there are some cross-class cards that is always an interesting dynamic because I am kind of bored with the meta right now in Hearthstone, so I always look forward to the meta kind of shifting. This is part of Tome. Hell yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. On Tuesday, I played the Jackbox Survey Scramble with chat. It was not a huge turnout on Tuesday. I wish more of y'all had been around, but it was fun. It was still a good time, even if it wasn't like you know, the best stream ever. It was still fun. Okay, so this is this card? No. I thought this was this card here, but it's not. So it must be, maybe it's on this side. What card is this? Does it start with an S? Is this Sky Diamond? This is part of Sky Diamond. Fuck yeah, it is. Yeah, so I did play that on Tuesday. There are 2 new modes in the scramble, the survey scramble, and one of those modes I thought was really fun, and the other mode I thought was pretty good. The speed one, where you are trying to like move along a board, I thought was pretty fun. I think that one would be really fun live, because you would be able to see people's reactions as you were playing in the room with you. So I think that game in person would be for fun. It was still good, but I think it'd be more fun in person. And then the other one that I got to that I really liked was just like a variation of one of the other games, but I thought that was pretty good. I thought as far as you know, just a plain variety, that was a good time. So this card is here. That was a little tough, but I figured it out. Yeah, it's this one. It's this card. It's this piece here. Okay. Ooh, this one is tiny. This looked like a bookshelf of some kind. So is this part of scroll rack? It is. It's part of scroll rack. That is a tiny piece, but it goes right there. Hell yeah, it does. This is, I need a card that says for 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is the rules text here. And this should hopefully stand out, because even if I can't read everything on here, I should be able to find something that says you gain, untap, draw. So yeah, Scramble was good. I don't know if we're going to stream it again anytime soon. This is part of a staff, so that goes in there, right there. So I don't know if we'll be doing that again anytime soon, but I did have fun with it. I don't want to act like I didn't have fun with it. All right, so a card that says in the top corner, Battlefield. And that has kind of whatever that is in the corner there. So at some point it says Battlefield in the first line of the description here. This might be difficult to find off this. This might be not enough clues. I might have to wait on this one. Because it's not, it says Battlefield Encounter. This one might be better with the magnifying glass. Okay. No, it's not that one. It's not that one. It doesn't seem to be on this side of the Legends with there. So yeah, and then after that, I've been watching anime, and we talked about some of those, and I'm watching a few other things that I'm not talking about on a weekly basis during streams, but I'm still enjoying it. Okay. This is part of Sunset Pyramid. Well, I thought it was. I thought for sure this was part of Sunset Pyramid. It's not part of Sunset Pyramid. Unless oh yeah, no, it's not part of, I thought for sure this was part of Sunset Pyramid. It is not. Okay, I don't know if I can figure this one out here yet. I mean, someday I will. Oh, is it? Okay, no, it's part of this card here. It goes right here. Yay! It's part of that card. Let me see what y'all been writing, because some of y'all have been writing things. Lord Crashton says it was cold and snowy today, which was fun. Ended up getting Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Oh, that's right, that did come out, which is fun, and also a modern, Donkey Kong Country game. I hired some help in TCG Card Shop Simulator. Oh, nice. You got yourself an employee, which is sort of useful while also being weird when they just stand on the curb when they're done stocking shelves. I'd like an option to have them hang out in the store. Yeah, that seems underbaked. I haven't messed around with it too much, but that does feel a little underbaked. I would like there to be a little bit more to that. This is just a card that just has I have to look at every card that costs 3 and see if any of the cards that cost 3 don't have this. That's going to be a hunt and peck right there. And then this card, like, what's that? What's this card? I'm giving myself some tough challenges. Oh, wait. I said that, and then this one is part of Pyramid. That one. I was like, that's going to be tough. And then it fucking wasn't. Let's find a card that costs 2 that has this art in the top right corner. While I keep reading. But yes, I think the AI for the store people is a little, or helpers is a little underbaked. But I think with time, it could get fully baked. Last week, we watched Castlevania Nocturne Season 1 and Purposes Season 2 releasing today, and you marathoned that, and I think it's really good. New writing team has found its pace, and the animation is even better. I've heard very good things about the animation of Castlevania Nocturne Season 2. Yeah, I've heard good things. You ended up watching Lost Highway for the first time today for obvious reasons, and I think I liked it, but also was too comfortable on the couch and fell asleep a bit at Imagine parts, so I got to watch it again. I mean, here's the thing. Lashbrook, you might have still watched it and not slept too much, because Lost Highway is pretty fucked and can get pretty fucking weird. I mean, it's incredible, but it is, it is a lot and not necessarily for everybody. This is, goes over here. Hell yeah. Now I need to find a card that costs 3 that I haven't put down yet. It's not this one, because that doesn't fit. So I need a card that costs 3. This one I might have to wait on, because there's probably not enough information. But when I'm like down to it, it'll be like, oh, that fits. Because right now, a lot of the cards I see here that cost 3 already have that piece put in place, or like this. Oh, wait. Oh, fuck yeah. That just fit. I really thought that was going to be tough. But yeah, RIP to David Lynch, an unbelievably creative weirdo, a wonderful weirdo. That made weird TV and weird movies, and most of the things he made were with budgets from like studios, and he somehow managed to get that shit done for a very long time. Singularly weird, a crank, undoubtedly, but like a crank you could get behind. Just a wonderful weirdo that will be missed dearly. As Lashbury says, a one of one. He was just like a strange, weird guy that got to keep making movies and TV shows and made unbelievably strange things. The fact that it got to make more Twin Peaks is wild, and what he did with that opportunity is lovely. And he will be missed. The world is lesser with him being gone. Lashberg says, in positive news, I got Google Fiber this week and went from 50 MB connection to 1 gigabyte, and it's wild. It feels like I went from dial-up to DLSL. Turns out Twitch Player doesn't suck. It just hated my old connection. Yeah, Lashbrook, you'd be surprised about how many problems get fixed by good download and good upload. I would recommend uploading large files to YouTube where they get uploaded fucking instantly, and then the entire time you're waiting is just for them to process to HD, because the upload itself, because like a thing that YouTube does is is that sometimes your video file is taking so long to upload that it can actually start processing it to upgrade its HD while it's uploading, and then it finishes uploading, and then there's a little bit more process. But if your internet connection is fucking fast enough, it will just upload the file and then have to wait and stall out before it oh yeah, it goes there, fuck yeah, before it can actually start going through the HD. It's kind of wild. I miss Fios. I had a Verizon Fios. It was expensive as hell, but it was so worth it. For folks that weren't around for that time, my internet connection became garbage due to garbage, and OBS didn't have the bitrate thing that it does now where you can fuck around with that. But my internet suddenly went completely terrible because a bunch of houses that got built, the two apartment complexes got built, and all of them got wired for cable on the same cable that I was on and my neighbor was on, and suddenly my internet stopped being good. And I was like, oh, I can't stream before 10 p.m. Because if I tried to stream anytime before 10 p.m., I just dropped frames and it would get disconnected. It was bad. So I got fiber. I got a Verizon Fios, and I had one bad time in the almost 2 years that I had it. I had one day where the internet was a little bad one time. Oh, it was glorious. I miss it. I miss it so much. I can't display 4K, but I watched one of Jeff's 4K VODs for the hell of it. Yeah, why not? Go wild with it. Lord Crashing in a little bit more about the TCG card shop simulator. I'd like the TCG help to be a work on time, spray the smelly people, and not look like a robot. That said, it was because of the help that I realized I could stack stuff on top of the shelves. I also figured out that I could move the register to the back of the store where I wanted it from the start. So I did that. Hell yeah. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this piece. It might be Thoughtsteed. It is part of Thought Vessel, not Thoughtsteed. Thought Vessel. It's part of Thought Vessel. Okay, so we only did this for an hour. We did get some done. I will do a tally, and when I upload the VOD, I will know how many pieces I have left. I'll just do that tomorrow, because right now I don't have that, and I'm not going to tally that now. But we will on Saturday get more of this. My goal for Saturday is to finish this pile, and then get into the pile that's harder. Well, actually, you know what? Let me just do this one here, right here. This is part of Seer's Lantern. This is part of Seer's Lantern. I just noticed it. I know what that is from the card art. I recognize the card art. But yeah, I should be able to, by process elimination, get through a lot of this, complete this. I got to stop because I'll keep doing this. I'll keep going like, oh, I know what that is. I got to stop. I also sometimes want to do some of this puzzle while I am not streaming, and I don't want to do that too much. I'll do that a little, but I don't want to do too much. But that is tonight's stream, and we made some progress. We did a fun Lego set and then got pretty deep into this, which I'm happy with. We are going to raid. That is how we end every stream around here. We're going to go hang out with some people doing cool stuff and show them some love. I don't know who we're going to raid tonight, but I'll find out right now who's out there, who's streaming. I was about to say who's raiding, but who's doing some stuff that we want to go hang out with. P2 is playing SSX3. P2, formerly not a VTuber, now a VTuber. Which is great. I love that my friend was just like, you know what? I'm just going to use my account. I'm not going to start a new account. I'm just going to become a VTuber. And I think that's rad. So we're going to go hang out because that'll be a good time. Feel free to come along on this raid. I don't know how much longer they're going to be streaming. They only did 2 hours, but we're going to go hang out with them because I think it'll be fun. So feel free to come along on this raid. Hope you come back for my next stream this Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern, all the time, working on this goddamn jigsaw puzzle. I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.